then you can go from there. Can you hear me? Testing, testing. No. Tell me when to say testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Can you hear me? Testing. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Testing.
Got it. All right. Thank you. You drop yours down slow.
Yeah.
You may gotta move over there so they won't interfere with my testing. Hi, Max. Max and Nala. Max and Nala. Nala and Max. Where is Nala? Nala don't play. She don't want me having no classmates over. She said, don't start that. Don't make no sense. And let's see. We got about another minute. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, she's not there yet. Okay. They said she'd be looking for me to pick her up from school. I'll move this away. And then I can bring this in. Maybe I'll bring this in here. Move this here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Just thought that I'll be here present and on time for you all while you all are getting all checked in. Let's see. I wanted something else from this one here. Okay, I'm ready for my song now. You have it?
I'm not talking too loud.
Is it? Hi, sis. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. Now we got about 1 more minute. I was wrong. It was the right one.
What's the name of it?
What? I gave you the wrong name.
What's the name of it?
Look, I said when you ready for tea time and you all set to go, I guess I got on at 5:07. It's amazing how your anxiety go down when you do things decent and in order. You can just kind of go. Oh, thank you. We miss you too. Just make sure whenever you get a chance that you can go back and watch. And it's like you've been with, I know a lot of people's going back to work. We definitely need to mention that too, because the Biden administration. So welcome, welcome, welcome. It is now 5:11. Time for tea time with Kitty. I just want to say welcome to my sister Flood. Due to her work schedule, you haven't been able to join live as often, so it's always good to see those familiar tea time faces. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the month of February. Today is the first month of February. It is the first month of Black History Month, Black love, just spending time loving us. And I know that it's even Women's Month or Women's Health Month. I'll kind of research that and get back with you. But instead of having the hot tea topic today, for the month of February, our topic is going to be based off uh, of Black History Month. So we're going to do a little trivia when we start each show, and then we'll get right into the topics so that you all can chime in with me. So I'm going to ask, do anyone on Tea Time here today know who the first Black woman to become a captain of a cruise ship? Do anyone know who the first Black woman to become a captain of a cruise ship? Do anybody have the answer to that? You know, because when we think about Black History Month, I know since I was a child in elementary school, they taught us about Martin Luther King, Harriet Tubman, Malcolm X, a lot of them were just kind of like redundant. So it's very important that we make sure our children explore other opportunities and that Black history still exists. Hey, sister, and that Black history still exists today, because sometimes when we focus on Black history, those people were so important, but it was part of our past. But we need to have our children understand the importance of creating new history, right? So right now we're talking about if anyone knows the name of the first Black woman to become a captain of a cruise ship. You all had plenty of time just to shoot Google and ask them if you don't know the answer. But if I'm going to give you one more second. First Black, and let me just say this for the month of Black History. Hey, niece. Thank you so much for setting a reminder just to be with your aunt, a reminder to be with your aunt. Thank you, niece. So the question again, before I get ready to answer, is: do anyone knows who's the first Black woman to become captain of a cruise ship? Just making sure that we are constantly, because how Belinda Bennett. Belinda Bennett is the first woman to command a Windstar cruise ship and the first Black captain in the commercial industry. Yes, in 2016, she became the world's first ever Black woman captain. So let's give a shout out to Belinda Bennett. Belinda is a common African American name. Bennett is a common African American last name. So Belinda Bennett, you can't get no more Afrocentric than that. So we definitely want to give her a shout out. It's our history. When you look at like my grandchildren and your grandchildren or your children, because this just made history in 2016, because our history goes back much further than that, right? So thank you all so much. Every week for the month of November, we will do Black History trivia, because we want to make sure that we're staying abreast with what's going on. So today's topic is: what's the meaning of love? Let's see what we have here. What's the meaning of love? I'm so interested in hearing what you have to say about love. I want us to just take a second before we get to chatting away when we think about love, because it's very easy to love those who love us, but we're going to get a little bit more deeper into what the true meaning of love is. For the month of February. Oh, did I say something different? Oh, I'm always saying November. Thank you, niece and son. Why is November so important to me like that? Okay. Maybe I'll get married on 11/11, but I don't know if Yanni would like that. But February, yes, February. So let's see what we have. So first we're going to go to okay. So first I went to the dictionary, right? Yanni's birthday. I ain't think about her birthday. Let's see what we have. So it says that love is a noun, right? And we're gonna do a little education with that piece, right? Because a noun is a person, place, or thing. So any teachers out there, please correct me as we go forward. But it says love is an intense feeling with a deep affection. So tell me what you all think. Hey, Donna, tell me what you think about that. A great interest and pleasure in something. So these are just some things that the dictionary is saying about love. A person or a thing that one loves. So we've talked about three things. We said that love was a noun. We talked about it being deep affections. We talked about it being a pleasure in something. And we also talked about it's things that one loves. So do anyone have any responses on that as it relates to love? We're talking about love. What's the meaning of love? How do you feel about love? So we're starting right there. And I just want to know, do anyone have any feedback from what I just read as it relates to the Google Dictionary with what loves mean? Anytime you feel you're ready to chime in, please do so. And I'm going to move over a little bit. And we're in the Bible. So we didn't left the dictionary and we didn't came over to the Bible and we're talking about love, right? And the Bible, a lot of times it refers to persons, if you're religious and if you're deep in this, talking about, um, those people who say they love God but doesn't love others, right? So God wants us to know, like, how could you love him who you have not seen and not love your brothers and sisters that you have contact with, right? And we're going to get to some of our comments in just a second. So let me just go here for one more. Love is okay. So I'm waiting. What else comes with that? Love is, because we sometimes think about love, we think about how easy it is to love those who love us, but we want to talk about love a little bit more difficult than that. So let's see, I had a verse for you in the Bible. It says, God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whoever believeth shall have everlasting life, right? So that's what God is talking about when we talk about love in the Bible. We talk about agape love, and I use the word love a lot, right? And some people feel like that if you use it so openly, it can't be genuine. But if you have a true love for God and a true relationship with him, you'll know that it comes just like it should, nice and smooth with a lot of effect, right? I feel there has no meaning for love, just an emotion. I feel there's no meaning for love, just an emotion. It can mean different to everyone. Okay, and that's what we want to get at. We want to hear, what does love mean to everyone individually? That's absolutely correct. Okay, love is, and so sister is saying love is patient. So why is patience so much? So why is patience so important with love? Can you share what the reason for it is? Affection and appreciation. So why is love so important? So since we mentioned it being a feeling, let's go back to my niece, and we talked about it being an emotion, right? And then we're going to come back to patience. So why is so important with the emotional piece? Because we often feel like we can feel love, right? And it's really good to feel love, because you don't sometimes feel like you're loved if you don't feel the emotion connection with it, right? So it's very important that emotion is fulfilled when we're talking about love, right? And just as well as we want to feel good when someone says they love us, it's very important that we be very in tune with how we're making other people feel that we say that we love, right? Love is patient. Why is love so patient, right? The reason why love is so patient is because sometimes you have to love those who, I'm not going to say that don't love you, but may not be in a loving season at that present time. So meaning that you have to love your spouse through better or worse, and that doesn't just mean someone being sick. It means that some people have to deal with infidelity, and you have to still love your spouse in spite of that and be patient with them. So the patient piece comes from them getting the ideal job that you may want them to have, or just having the ideal housekeeping skills, or being able to contribute to what you need in your life at that time, right? Patience is being able to understand your partner, definitely being able to understand your partner, because it took me a long time to understand that everything I did was not the right way, right? It took me a long time to understand that. And it took me a long time to really understand what coexisting mean, right? So that means that not that you make all the rules and you get mad when they don't go your way, but that person that's in your life that you value and you trust and you love, you're being patient to what's going on with them as well. Being able to listen and to understand and not respond. Those are really great points. I struggled a lot with always being that person that had to have something to say. So sometimes you got to know when just to hold the information. So we talked about spouse and understanding your spouse. Give me some scenarios when it's so important to continue to love your children, right? We have to love our children. We have to love our children with them being on drugs. Like a parent that has to deal with a child that's going through a struggle with any addiction, whether it's drugs, alcohol, even sexual issues, and not just talking about someone dealing with their own sexual identity, but I mean persons that have promiscuous lifestyles. Like if you have a daughter that's all over the place, you have to be able to love her through that, right? You have to be able to love your child through incarcerations, right? You have to be able to love your child when they walk away from the church. So if you're like one of those holy rollers and you're always in church, and as for me and my household, we will serve the Lord, and everybody going out of here on Sunday morning and going to church, that's easier said than done when they're children. But when they become young adults, they have a decision and they have a choice to make in this as well. So you have to love them through not coming to church. You have to love them through telling them things that you feel like they should do, but they just don't want to hear it, and you just want to just instill it in them because you've been there, but they say, no, I'm going to still do it this way. You have to love your toddler when they don't want any more milk, and instead of saying no more milk, they knock the milk off the table. So we have to love patiently. We have to be kind when we're loving, right? Let's talk about loving your parents, right? We talked about your spouse and your children. What about loving your parents? And this one right here can be a really big one, because growing up, depending on what your family dynamic is, it may have varied, right? You may feel like you were raised by a parent that favored one child over the other. You may feel that you was raised by a parent that abandoned you. How do you continue? And people tell you all the time, oh, you need to just love your mom and dad. Is that easier said than done? Like when you receive that type of rejection, and I always say, I know what it is to be raised in a household with one parent. So just imagine what a child may be crying out for who has not been raised in a household with any parent. How do you continue to love your parent through their addiction? How do you continue to love their parent, when they've took gaps out of your life because they have been incarcerated or they've just not been there? How do you love? I don't feel like all family deserve love. And a lot of people feel that, because that's so key, right? I know my son and daughter was telling me about a book, and it was a star, and said that her mom is dead and she's glad. I think it was a book. Dynamite could chime in and help me. But to be able to say that is kind of bold, but plenty of people feel that, right? How do you love someone? Okay. Just type it. How do you love someone that wasn't there for you when you needed them the most? You wasn't there for me when I was 3, when I was 4, when I was 5. You wasn't there for me when I was 16. You didn't come to my high school graduation. How do I still love after that, right? The girl from iCarly said, okay, so you know about that too, right? So how do you love? Do anyone have any input to give on any of those different categories? We talked about spouse, we talked about children, we talked about our parents. People love celebrities. Oh my gosh, you can say something about a celebrity on a platform, and a celebrity may never respond, and you can have hundreds and thousands of people that will argue you from the beginning to the end about that celebrity. I remember I was about 19 and I was working at a daycare, and we had a grandparent program in the daycare. So with the grandparent program, they came in and they got like a stipend through DC, and they rocked the kids and read the kids stories. It was an awesome program, and to my understanding, I believe it's still around. But one of my coworkers had said to me, she said it was like a wrestling show coming here. I know it's real popular, like pay-per-view. I never really been a wrestling fan. And she said, you taking your son? I said, no, I ain't taking him. That stuff fake. So I'm saying this back to her, and we're laughing. I said, and the elderly lady overheard me say it was fake. And when I say that lady cursed me out, like, I mean, she cursed me out to the point where, like, she got so upset. So it was like she was like almost having a stroke. And it was just so scary, because like I wasn't even talking to her, and I didn't even know what made her so upset until she started saying, it ain't fake. No, and I was like, and the lady was like, oh my God, about to have a heart attack. And I didn't know that wrestling meant that much to people, because I really, thought it was fake. So, I try not to say it, even though I don't watch it. Maybe that ain't the word to say. But this elderly lady, so maybe if it was a man or a little boy that wanted to fight me head up for that statement, I may would have Oh, when you die hard wrestler. Okay, okay. I see that now. And I was, and if it's so, if it was a man or a boy, but to see a little old lady like that, and I know this lady probably, oh my God, I know given her 70 was young. You know, I know she was probably way older than that, but it really upset her. And I never forgot. And I mean, this is like um 30 years later, I see. And she was so upset with me. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't even know to go back and apologize because I wasn't that in tune with people's feelings. Because now today I would have really went back and apologized. But that tells you, just to go back to what Christian was saying, like people really have strongholds on things, like really, really, really strong holds on things. And like they're gonna just they just gonna love whatever that is that they supposed to love till the end. And sometimes that happens like with relationships. I always say, maybe it's because people are younger. And someone else could chime in and help me with this. But I always say that people, when they're like boyfriends and girlfriends, they go harder for the relationship than husband and wives. You know, when it's a boyfriend and girlfriend thing, you know, you might be fighting in public, you might be arguing, you might go fight someone else over your spouse, you may be flattening ties, busting windows. Like you go all out for that spouse of yours. People don't play about their spouse, right? So I guess that's another way of showing like, hey, we ain't married yet, but I love you, and I'm showing you this loyalty, and I'm showing you that this is going to be here, right? Can anyone else think of something that I have not covered when you think about love and what's the meaning of it? Right, right, right. They should fight harder in a marriage, but I guess people when they kind of get married, and I haven't been married before, so if there's anyone on there that want to correct me, I think that people feel like marriage, you like you kind of like could conquer something. So even though you ain't gonna let nobody play with your husband and wife, it's not the same as just I gotta keep fighting for this till I can make sure that it's mine. Right. It's like with your own children, you create them and build a bond before they were even born. So you'll always love them, even with the postpartum, when you can have thoughts of abandonment and resentment or hatred, you will still love them. You will still love them anyway. And you know what's so attention and time you pour into what you love. Attention and time. Please don't be telling anyone you love them if you are not giving them attention. Please make sure that you're giving people that you care about attention. Even when it comes to pets, like people really, 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 really love their pets. I was in Starbucks on H Street, and it's predominantly white folks in that area, and a lot of them have dogs because, like, a Starbucks, and it's a is it a PetSmart or something right next door to it? So people always have their dogs in Starbucks, and so the dog was in Starbucks and was on a leash, and it was a black girl next to me, in between me and a black lady, and she kept saying, "Oh, look at the little doggy. Oh, look at the little doggy." And I was thinking in my head, I said, if she called this lady dog, this lady baby, a dog one more time, it's gonna be a problem. She look at the little doggy. That lady turned around and said his name is whatever his name was. So she took offense by that person calling her dog a dog. So you all be real careful. You know, like that little saying, "Oh, look at the little doggy." Some people took pride in naming that dog and that cat, and don't y'all be calling nobody dog and cat no dog and cat, because that could come off as offensive. And the lady had, like, the younger had a look of shock on her face, like it is a damn dog. But to some of them, those are their children. Those are their children. Depending on the situation, the love can die. I'm not going to automatically love you because we related or what the rest of the world think I should do. Okay, okay. Hey, sis, late. Look, hey, you can late, better late than never. We're talking about love and what's the meaning of love and how we're in situations where we still have to love in spite of, right? What does that look like? Like, what are some things where you feel like you know you want to share where you still have to love in spite of what? You still have to love in spite of what? Anyone else out there, when you think of love, what's your meaning of love? Do not hesitate to put in the chat what it means to you, because what I feel about love or what love means to me may not be the same of what you feel about it or what it means to you, right? So that's why it's so important that we recognize what love means to us. So let's think about when we're a child. Let's go back to the parent. We talked about the parent giving birth, right? Mom or dad giving birth. That child, you don't know from anything. Like, it was a little joke on, I think it was Instagram, and it was a father holding his son, and the friend was trying to do something to the little baby. The baby wasn't like a year old yet. And the friend was like, "You choosing him over me? You just met him like a year ago. You've been knowing me longer, right?" But that's the thing about instant love. Instant love. Have anyone ever experienced instant love? Like, you know, that love, we would say love at first sight. When I seen you, I knew you were the one. Have anybody had that kind of love? Because I haven't had that yet. But I believe in that fairy tale type love. So if anyone had that, please share that story. With the parent thing, depending on the situation, you may feel like they don't deserve your love. But even with the hate, there's always love. I really believe you cannot hate if you didn't once love. Okay. So you feel like that's the connection of it. Like, you shouldn't be able to, hey, I just want to make sure I got that right, or you can come back again. I said that because, like, if you was constantly getting abused by your parents, people gonna still be in your ear saying you still gotta love them. They're your parents no matter what. And I used to be one of those people that felt that you had to love, like, even like with my brother, like everybody has their own relationship, and how the rest of us, when my other brothers may not have as a close relationship with my dad, or not as close as I am, they have, like, some connection. And when one of my brothers really didn't have a connection, it took me years to understand that people heal on their own time. People heal on their own time. So you can't say, well, we was raised in the house together. Both of us was affected by this. None of us ate. Why is this one fine when not eating and still able to love mom and dad? And why is this one, hating them? So it does make a difference. My daughter told me today, when I was saying that my outlook on it is different now, and she told me, she said, it's because you in the church, the Lord, so sometimes that helps you love a little more, right? How my baby, I supposed to came and see my baby last night. I didn't forget everybody else's chat, but I'm going back to it. That's my baby. Love at first sight don't exist. So you don't think that exists, Christian? Oh, it got to be somebody on the line that's going to challenge him with that love at first sight. I never had it, but I hear people say it. When I seen you, I knew you were the one. I haven't had that yet. Anyone else? I love people enough to let them go and grow out their own, to protect my own peace. Definitely let them go, because I'm telling you, I was the save it all, go lucky, and I never really embrace what people had went through in life that really made them be able to separate, because sometimes if you haven't dealt with that directly, it's a little challenging, right? And you be like, how can somebody love their mom? How their mom can't be they all? But when I look back and think about it, you had to have some forgiving to be able to fully love people. And even when you fully love them, it sometimes revisits itself, and it bothers you. And I want you to know that it is okay to not be okay. So let me just say that and make sure we leave that there. It is okay to not be okay. Do not have anyone rush when your emotions or change or feelings should come and go. It's crazy because the one who hates the parent be the one who needs them the most. Okay, the one who hates the, okay. Oh, be the one who needed them the most. Okay. Yes, I feel like you cannot hate someone you didn't once love. It still have some time of love for, like the saying, it's a thin line between love and hate. Okay, so now I think I got it. So just saying that when you have that true hatred for someone, it's because of the love you had for them, and with the disappointment or maybe resentment that came with it, it kind of definitely made it more of a hate. It's mostly always a sexual attraction that's not love. Okay, so talk about that. You say it's a sexual attraction that's not love. So do you mean that when they seen someone and they knew that person was the one, you don't think it has anything to do with love? It wasn't love at first sight. They just seen something that they wanted in that person. You said sexual, or maybe not sexual, or just thought that person was cute or handsome, and you think that maybe it just kind of goes from there. Okay, let's see. People mistake love as sharing of the same trauma, and that's not love. I love my husband as my soulmate, like-minded, understanding, and balance. Okay, I don't believe in love at first sight either. Wow, I agree with this. Okay, so you agree with your brother? Okay, so is that kind of like cliche? Is that just something that goes on in the movies when I watch the Hallmark movies? But what I will say and think is really cute and close to it is when people met like in high school or junior high school, and they are able to be married 30 and 40 years. And a lot of times those people didn't have any other partners or anything, just that person. I do think that's deep and that's interesting, that person, because I think that relationships kind of helps you learn about yourself. It has you to learn how you want to be loved, how you're going to love people. So I think that definitely plays a part. No, because sometimes butterflies are wanting to run, not sing, loose to stay. Okay, hold on, that's another whole topic. Sometimes butterflies in the stomach. Okay. Also, there is absolutely no way you can love anybody if you don't love yourself. And let's just stop right there with that, because that's where I wanted to go at with it. Loving yourself. This is a very important month. I have never been a man before, so I only know what we go through as women. So it's not to to cross out the importance of men at all. But this is Women's Month. This is the month of love, and this is Black History, Black Beauty Month, right? I want you all to make sure you do something nice for yourself this month, even if it's taking yourself to a McDonald's date lunch. Do something nice for yourself. I plan to go and have me a manicure and pedicure tomorrow, and I try to have me a massage the week after that. And even if it's just a bowl of noodles, listening to your favorite love song, do something intimate with yourself. As Valentine's Day comes near, it can be a very happy time. Some people don't do it at all, right? Some people just don't do it at all, right? But then there can be like a really happy time when you have someone. I know what it is to have Valentine's Day and not have someone, but I never, ever, ever had a Valentine's Day that went unspent. And with that, what I mean by that is, even if it meant dressing up my son and daughter, taking them to dinner, to a restaurant. They went to all types of concert. I never believed in sitting in and just sitting and on Facebook strolling, and everybody say they love each other. They really don't anyway. I always got out and did something. I always found it my business to treat a sister. If it was someone I know that wasn't in a relationship or didn't, or maybe going through a tough time and didn't have a spouse, for probably about 7 years, I dropped off gifts to that person, even if it was just a wine glass and some chocolate, just to let them know that we're not alone. I always said I wanted to start a child care on Valentine's Day and New Year's, and just do something fun with kids, because love comes in different ways and in different directions. So most importantly, make sure, and I'm going to be looking to hear from you all at the end of the month with something that you did. I definitely want you to make sure you join in. Ladies, join in with your spouse. If you're a male, join in with your buddy, because next week, I believe Pookie and Christian, and we have one more person that hasn't totally agreed yet to host the NFL Super Bowl show, and we'll be talking sports, we'll be talking stats, and we're going to also talk about African Americans in the industry as it relates to basketball, football, coaching, and just how it looked back then for Black men as it does for Black men now, right? To my understanding, I believe both quarterbacks are African American. I know one is mixed, and I think one is just African American. So I hope I got that right. But if not, I know that they'll. So if you have any questions for them or anything you want to ask, please be sure to do that and have someone join in with you while we talk about these sports. I also want them to share with me where did this rivalry come from with Dallas and Redskins. They have a few minutes to touch on that. I also want to know like some of the teams that I see that made it down to the end were some of DC rivals. And I think that I noticed there's a lot of Philadelphia Eagles fans in the DMV, a lot of 49er fans, as well as Dallas fans. So maybe we could talk about that. Let's see. It can grow into that, but not at first sight, because something attracted you to them and it wasn't love, it was lust. Okay, so you talk about some money there. I love that it's the truth. And let's see, don't be salty on V-Day. Okay, don't be salty on V-Day. And let me give you a heads up. Don't be salty on Father's Day. Oh, thank you, sis. She said I'm the best. I had missed that. Okay. And Mimi laughing at Pookie and them hosting. I know she probably laughing at her twin brother first. Yes, I already have my self-care weekend planned and weekend before Valentine's Day. So important. It's a brunch. It's a bunch of Philly fans now, but I always felt that DC had a lot of Philly fans. Like I know a few people that I've seen them ride with Philly sun up and sundown, especially a lot of my female friends. So I hope that Christian, did you get your schedule squared away so that you can be ready to host, and hopefully we can bring someone else with us. Yeah, I know. Yeah, right. We know some Philly fans. And we're just wishing them the best in the Super Bowl. This Sunday, we'll be going over to my mom's house. We were going over to my mom's house, her children and her grandchildren and a few of her great-grandchildren. But my mom planned herself a whole event, and she extended family members. So I'm trying to figure out how to get this food together. Ain't nobody tell Miss Barbara Jean to do that, because Miss Barbara Jean's birthday is next month, and I already have to feed her whole apartment complex, right? So you got to make sure you have enough food, and I want to get them some little care packages. So I don't know why she would plan herself a big event this Sunday. So I'm already working on reserving her community room and paying for that. And food is so expensive, but that's Miss Barbara Jean, if anyone knows her. So Chucky, what are your plans looking like next Wednesday? Would you like to come on over and join Pookie and Christian? Food will be provided and a few drinks. Oh, thank you. Aussie has a job fair on the 16th and the 17th for bus drivers and bus attendants. Those are the only two jobs I know about. I'll reach out to my sister to see if it's any other ones, or if you find out, Pookie, and let us know. And congratulations to my sister. Won't get into who, what, when, or where. Don't share her name if you may know. Just want to give her a big shout out on her new opportunity. There's reasons why we can't go any further than that at this time. So don't say her name if you know her. But a big shout out to my sister. Congratulations to you. Ask her what flavor hot pocket she want, because she ain't nobody got time for that me, especially the lady that ain't give you no birthday parties. It was a few jobs on there. Okay, so maybe we'll get the list going back. And I thank you all so much. Let me just tell you all, I conquered a few things this week, this month. You know how you have those challenging seasons in your life where everything's all over the place. That has pretty much came to the end as of yesterday. I'm so thankful. I'm so excited. And one of my sisters had made a post that said, my New Year starts February the 1st, because January was just a 30-day trial run, right? So I definitely like that. So shout out to her. And I'm going to start working on making February the 1st, as well as the rest of the year, the best. Love you all. Happy Love Month. Happy Black History Month. Happy Women's Month. Happy all that good stuff. Buy yourself something nice. And take care of yourself. And I will see you all again next Wednesday for Super Bowl talk. Thank you so much for sipping with a sister. Like you too.